Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because today we're looking at a coin that carries history, silver, power, and the spirit of a nation during one of the most controversial periods of the 20th century. If you enjoy rare coins, hidden treasures, and stories behind old money, you're in the right place. Take a close look at this remarkable 1969 silver 1 rand from South Africa. At first glance, it may seem like just another old silver coin resting quietly in a collection box or forgotten drawer. But the moment you hold it in your hand, you can feel the weight of history. This is not just currency. This is a surviving witness from a different era. A time when the world was changing rapidly and nations were fighting for identity, power, and recognition. The 1969 silver 1 rand was produced during a period when South Africa was still using silver in circulation coins, something that immediately makes collectors pay attention today. Modern coins often feel light, ordinary, and forgettable, but older silver coins carry a completely different presence. They have a colder touch, a richer sound, and a level of craftsmanship that many people believe has disappeared from modern minting. What makes this coin especially attractive to collectors is the balance between rarity, silver content, and historical significance. Coins from the late 1960s represent a fascinating period in world numismatics because many countries were moving away from precious metals due to rising costs. That means every surviving silver circulation coin from this period becomes more interesting as the years pass. The design of the 1 rand is bold and proud. South Africa wanted its national currency to represent strength and independence. The details on the coin show careful engraving work that still looks impressive decades later. Even worn examples often maintain sharp lines and elegant features. Collectors admire coins that age gracefully, and this piece certainly does. Now imagine the journey this coin may have taken over more than half a century. It may have traveled through busy markets, rested inside the pocket of a businessman, crossed borders in a traveler's suitcase, or sat hidden in an old family collection untouched for decades. Every scratch and every mark can represent a chapter of real history. That's one of the reasons older men especially connect deeply with coins like this. They remember a world before digital payments, before online banking, before numbers on screens replaced the feeling of real money in the hand. For many collectors between the ages of 55 and 65 and beyond, coins are more than investments. They are memories. They remind people of childhood collections, old shops, family conversations, and the excitement of finding something rare in pocket change. A silver coin from 1969 brings back the feeling of a different generation, when craftsmanship mattered and currency carried dignity. Another reason this coin attracts attention is silver itself. Silver has always held a special place in the world of wealth and collecting. Unlike paper money, silver has intrinsic value. Even if the coin becomes worn over time, the metal itself still holds importance. That gives collectors a sense of security and permanence that modern currencies cannot always provide. The South African rand also has an interesting global reputation among coin enthusiasts. During the 1960s, South African coinage became known for quality minting and durable designs. Collectors from Europe, North America, and Asia still actively search for older South African silver coins because they combine beauty with historical depth. Condition plays a huge role in determining desirability. A coin with bright surfaces, sharp details, and minimal wear can immediately stand out in the market. But even circulated examples hold appeal because silver coins from this era are becoming harder to locate in strong condition. Some people spend years searching for the right example to complete their collections. One of the most exciting things about coin collecting is that treasures are often hiding in ordinary places. Many valuable coins are discovered inside old boxes, inherited collections, desk drawers, and forgotten cabinets. Countless people have unknowingly held valuable coins without realizing it. That possibility keeps collectors searching year after year. The thrill of discovery never disappears. This 1969 silver 1 rand also represents a powerful lesson about time. When this coin was first released, nobody imagined collectors decades later would admire it this much. To most people back then, it was simply money used in daily life. But time transformed it into a collectible artifact. That transformation is exactly what makes coin collecting so fascinating. Everyday objects can become historical treasures simply because they survive. Collectors often say silver coins have personality. They reflect light differently than modern clad coins. They develop unique toning patterns. Some become golden around the edges, while others take on deep gray or blue shades that make every piece unique. No two old silver coins age exactly the same way. And let's talk about the sound. Experienced collectors can often identify a real silver coin just by hearing it drop gently onto a surface. Silver produces a distinctive ring that modern coins cannot copy. That sound connects directly to the past. It reminds collectors of a time when money carried precious metal value and genuine weight. The market for historical silver coins continues to grow because more people are realizing that tangible collectibles offer something special. They are physical pieces of history you can actually hold. Unlike digital assets that exist only on screens, a silver coin remains real, solid, and permanent. For older collectors especially, there is pride in owning coins tied to world history. The 1969 South African 1 Rand belongs to an era filled with political tension, economic shifts, and international attention. Whether someone collects for history, silver value, or personal nostalgia, this coin checks all the boxes. Some collectors focus only on rare mint marks. Others search for coins with strong eye appeal. Some simply enjoy the emotional connection. But nearly everyone agrees that silver world coins from the 1960s have become increasingly respected in the collecting community. And here is something important many beginners overlook. The value of a coin is not only about age. It's about survival, condition, demand, silver content, and collector interest combined together. That's why certain coins from the 1960s can outperform much older coins in the market. The 1969 silver 1 Rand stands as a reminder that history can fit in the palm of your hand. It survived changing governments, economic shifts, decades of circulation, and the passage of time itself. Today, collectors continue searching for these pieces because they represent more than money. They represent endurance.
Before we begin, take 1 second to subscribe to this channel, because stories like this are disappearing fast, and once this knowledge is gone, it never comes back. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the sound of real money. Not plastic cards, not digital numbers on a screen, but the heavy, confident ring of metal in the palm of a working man's hand. A sound that meant wages earned, bills paid, families fed, and pride carried quietly in a wallet. Today, I'm holding a story that comes from that world. A story pressed into metal, born in 1966, during a time when South Africa was changing, when Afrikaans echoed through government halls, farms, factories, and homes. This is not just a coin. This is a witness. The 1 Rand coin of 1966 was minted in an era when money still had authority. Men trusted weight. They trusted silver-toned metal that didn't lie, didn't vanish with a power cut, and didn't need permission to exist. This coin was part of everyday life. Yet few people stopped to think that history was forming right in their pockets. That's how important things hide. They live quietly among us, waiting for time to reveal their true power. Look closely at this coin, and you're looking at discipline, precision, national identity. The Afrikaans inscriptions tell you exactly when and where it came from. This was a statement of sovereignty, a declaration that this nation minted its own future. Every letter, every edge, every detail was deliberate. Nothing accidental. Coins like this weren't rushed. They were engineered to last longer than the men who earned them. For the generation watching this now, especially men who remember life before convenience ruled everything, this coin speaks your language. It reminds you of mornings that started early, hands rough from work, and the satisfaction of earning something real. Back then, a rand wasn't just currency. It was proof of effort, proof that value came from labor, not speculation. Most people today would glance at this coin and see spare change. That's because modern eyes are trained to overlook substance. But collectors, historians, and seasoned investors know something different. They know that certain objects absorb the gravity of their era. This one rand absorbed political tension, economic shifts, and the confidence of a country asserting itself on the global stage. Coins like this didn't just circulate through shops. They passed through generations. Now here's where the story becomes serious. Not all 1966 1 rand coins are equal. Some were struck under unique conditions. Some survived untouched, uncleaned, unpolished, protected by pure chance. Others carry microscopic variations that only experienced eyes can detect. These small differences, invisible to the untrained observer, are what separate an ordinary coin from a legendary one that men who understand machinery, engineering, or craftsmanship will appreciate this part. When something is made in limited numbers, with old-world precision, any slight deviation becomes important. It's the same reason a rare engine part, a discontinued tool, or a hand-built component becomes priceless decades later. Scarcity plus history equals power. Over the years, collectors began to notice that certain 1966 1 rand coins carried traits that should not exist together. Metal composition anomalies, strike quality beyond standard production, preservation that defied time. These coins weren't just rare. They were wrong in the right way. And in the world of serious collecting, that's where fortunes are born, behind closed doors, far away from flea markets and online listings. Quiet conversations began. Experts started documenting, authenticating, sealing these coins in vaults. Not for nostalgia, but for legacy. Because men who truly understand value don't chase trends. They secure assets that outlive them. Imagine owning something small enough to fit in your hand, yet powerful enough to command respect in any auction room on Earth. Imagine knowing that what looks like a simple coin could stand toe-to-toe with luxury properties, rare art, or vintage automobiles in terms of worth. That's not fantasy. That's what happens when history, rarity, and demand collide. Many of these coins were lost, melted down, spent on groceries, forgotten in drawers. That loss is exactly why the remaining examples matter so much. Survival itself became a filter. Only the strongest stories remained. This is why men in their later years are drawn to coins like this. It's not about quick profit. It's about understanding. It's about holding something that still respects weight, permanence, and truth. This coin doesn't shout. It doesn't glitter. It waits for the right man to recognize it. If your father or grandfather ever worked hard for his money, this coin would feel familiar to him. It carries that same quiet dignity. And today, that dignity has transformed into something extraordinary. Because here is the part most people will never believe until they see the proof. Point 1 authenticated, ultra-rare example of the 1966 1 rand Afrikaans coin, preserved in exceptional condition, with verified mint anomalies and historical documentation, has been valued at $29 million. Before we dive into something truly remarkable, take a moment and hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss the treasures we uncover together, and today, I promise, this one will stay in your memory long after the video ends. Gentlemen, let me take you on a journey back in time, way back to 1968, South Africa. Imagine a country at a crossroads, its culture, its history, and yes, even its currency telling stories that go far beyond the metal and minting process. Among the coins minted that year, one piece stands out, not just for its rarity, but for the story it carries in every inch of its design. That coin is the 1 rand from 1968. Now, a coin isn't just a piece of currency. It's a snapshot of an era. The 1968 1 rand is a reflection of South Africa's identity at that moment, its pride, its ambition, and the craftsmanship of its mints. Hold it in your hand, and you're holding history. This coin, composed of a durable alloy, was designed to withstand the passage of time, and yet, even as decades pass, it continues to draw the attention of collectors and enthusiasts alike. Look at the design for a moment. On one side, there's a powerful emblem that speaks to national pride. Every line, Every curve is meticulously crafted. The reverse side often features a striking image that captures the spirit of South African wildlife or symbolism, an artistic statement frozen in metal. It's not just a coin. It's a story told in silver and copper tones, a piece of art that traveled through time, surviving years that reshaped the nation itself. Collectors and history enthusiasts alike are drawn to coins like this because they're rare windows into the past. You see, coins were produced in specific quantities, and as years go by, fewer of them remain in pristine condition. That's where the allure lies. The scarcity of a well-preserved 1968 1 rand makes it an object of fascination and desire. It's not just about money. It's about owning a tangible piece of history, a connection to a time when life was different, slower, and perhaps, in its own way, more deliberate. Now, let me tell you something most people don't realize. The appeal of coins like this isn't only monetary. Sure, there's value, and yes, that's exciting. But the real charm lies in holding something that survived decades of change. The wear, the patina, the faint marks from handling, they all whisper stories. Each scratch or gleam on this coin is a reminder that time moves on, yet some treasures endure. That's a powerful feeling, especially for someone who has seen the world change as much as many of you watching have. Imagine sitting with this coin, examining it carefully. Maybe you're a retired gentleman, enjoying the calm of your study, a cup of coffee nearby, reflecting on your own journey. Suddenly, your mind drifts to history, the days when this coin circulated freely, passing through countless hands, witnessing the everyday lives of people, the mundane and the extraordinary alike. That sense of connection is why collectors are drawn to coins of this era. They're not just chasing value, they're chasing stories. And speaking of stories, let's talk about rarity. The 1968 1 rand wasn't produced in the massive quantities of everyday change. Over time, many have been lost, melted down, or simply worn beyond recognition. That's why a coin in good condition becomes a gem. Even subtle differences, a slightly sharper edge, a crisper engraving, can make a huge difference for collectors. It's like spotting a first edition book or a classic car in pristine condition. There's an undeniable thrill in knowing that you possess something few others have. The coin itself has a classic, understated elegance. It's neither flashy nor gaudy, but its simplicity is part of the charm. You can almost feel the weight of history in your hand, the significance of an era distilled into a small, circular piece of metal. Its design isn't just decoration. It's symbolism, crafted with care, precision, and respect for what it represents. That's why coins like this are more than collectibles. They're a bridge to another time, a tangible link to the lives and stories of people who lived decades before us. Now, I know some of you might be wondering about its condition and its impact on value. Let me assure you, the 1968 1 rand is highly sought after in excellent condition. Mint marks, edge details, and the preservation of its original luster can significantly influence its desirability. Even a single coin, if well maintained, can be the crown jewel of a collection. Collectors spend years hunting for coins like this, and when they find them, the sense of achievement is immense. It's a pursuit that combines patience, knowledge, and passion, a perfect hobby for those who appreciate history, craftsmanship, and the thrill of discovery. Beyond its appeal to collectors, this coin has a cultural resonance. It embodies a time of both challenge and pride, reflecting the artistic sensibilities and economic conditions of South Africa in the late 1960s. Coins like this remind us that history isn't just in textbooks. It's in the objects people used every day, in the details we might overlook, in the small things that survive when everything else changes. As you consider adding a coin like this to your own collection, think about the stories it carries. Picture it displayed carefully in a case, admired not just for its material, but for its history. Imagine showing it to friends or family and sharing its journey, connecting generations through a shared appreciation for the past. That's the beauty of coins. They don't just hold monetary value. They hold memory, experience, and a sense of connection that transcends time. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the payoff after this journey through history and craftsmanship. The 1968 South African 1 Rand, in good condition, has a value that often surprises those who encounter it for the first time. Today, a well-preserved coin like this can be valued at around $600. Yes, $600 for a piece of metal that carries decades of history, culture, and artistry in its design. It's a remarkable example of how something seemingly ordinary can hold extraordinary worth, both financially and emotionally. So, gentlemen, remember this. When you hold a coin like the 1968 1 Rand, you're holding more than money. You're holding a story, a memory, and a piece of history. That's the power of collectibles. And that's why coins like this continue to fascinate, inspire, and capture the imagination of those who appreciate the finer details of life. And if you've enjoyed this journey, don't forget, you've got to subscribe to keep uncovering treasures like this, because history, after all, is full of surprises waiting for the patient and curious. Thank you for taking this journey with me. And remember, every coin has a story, but only a few tell it as powerfully as the 1968 South African 1 Rand. Welcome to SG Coin Chronicles, your trusted gateway into the fascinating world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and forgotten currency history. From ancient empires to modern rarities, we uncover the stories, values, and secrets behind some of the world's most remarkable coins. Whether you're a collector, a history lover, or simply curious, we bring you well-researched insights, real coin values, and expert commentary you won't find anywhere else. Subscribe now and turn on notifications, because every coin has a story, and CoinAZ Pulse is here to tell it. This is the story of a coin that carries more than just a face value, the 1970 South African 1 Rand. At first glance, it may appear ordinary, but in its weight, design, and rarity, it whispers stories of history, art, and collector fervor. Imagine holding a round disc, 32.7 millimeters across and 2.25 millimeters thick, weighing 15 grams. Its metal is not pure silver, but an alloy of 80% silver and 20% copper, giving it a lustrous sheen tinged with warmth. Munstuck.com +1 on the obverse side. You will find the coat of arms of South Africa, flanked by the country's name in both Afrikaans, SA Afrika, and English, South Africa. Beneath, the date, 1970, appears, and just below the arms, the initials TS appear, marking the handiwork of designer Tommy Sassing. OnlineCoin.club +1 around the arms is the motto Yex Unitate Vires, meaning from unity, strength. American History.si.edu +2 OnlineCoin.club +2 flip it over, and the reverse reveals one of the most elegant symbols of South Africa, the springbok antelope in mid-leap, frozen in time. Above that figure is the Latin phrase Soli Deo Gloria, glory to God alone. Below is the denomination 1 Rand, and to the side, the initials JVZ for Jan Van Zyl, the engraver. OnlineCoin.club +2 Munstuck.com +2 The edge of the coin is finely reeded, adding texture and symmetry. Munstuck.com +1 To appreciate the significance of this coin, one must see it in the context of its era. The South African Rand was introduced in 1961, replacing the South African pound in decimal form. Over the years, coin designs evolved, and metals shifted as economic pressures mounted. Wikipedia +1 The 1 Rand coin began circulation in 1967 and initially used silver. Over time, rising costs forced metallurgical changes, but in 1970 this coin still carried substantial silver content. Wikipedia +2 OnlineCoin.club +2 However, while this coin bears the hallmarks of circulation, many of the silver 1 Rand coins were struck not for daily use, but for collectors and proof sets. In fact, the silver 1 Rand coins from this era were often reserved for mint sets or special issues. OnlineCoin.club +2 RandCoin.company ZA +2 The mintage numbers reflect that. For 1970, The total mintage for silver 1 rand coins is estimated in various sources around 26,000 pieces, out of which a portion were proofs. OnlineCoin.club plus one among those. Only a limited subset might have been intended for open circulation. OnlineCoin.club because of this dual character. Part circulating coin, part collector issue. The coin's survival in unblemished condition is rare. Many suffered wear, scratches, or corrosion. Collectors prize those that remain in mint or nearly mint state, with original toning or luster. When such examples surface, they command far more interest than heavily worn ones. One of the fascinating aspects of this coin is the story behind the imagery and inscriptions. The motto Yex Unitate Vires echoes a hope for unity in a country grappling with divisions. The springbok, a graceful antelope native to southern Africa, became a national symbol, elegant, agile, and proud. The phrase Soli Deo Gloria has deeper roots in Christian theology, reflecting the influence of faith in the society of that time. The combination of art, national identity, and spiritual motto makes this coin more than metal. It embodies a cultural snapshot. Collectors also look for small details. How sharply were the letters struck? Are the fields smooth or frosted? Does the coin show any die clashes, double strikes, or variations in the engraver initials? Some coins of this series might lack the TS initials in certain years, replaced by other signatures like ALS in later years. Namista plus 2 Rand coin. Company's EA plus 2, but for 1970, the TS mark is expected. Experts compare specimens under magnification to confirm authenticity and check for subtle errors that can add premium value. Condition is everything in numismatics. A pristine proof or uncirculated example could sparkle as though just minted, with mirror fields and crisp details. A worn specimen, by contrast, might lose detail in the high points of the design or have surface spots from handling. In grading, even a slight scratch or hairline mark can drop a coin's grade significantly, and thus its market value. The rarity of high-grade specimens has led to strong demand among collectors worldwide. Those with professional grading, say NGC or PCGS, often fetch higher prices because buyers have confidence in the coin's authenticity and condition. Over the decades, auction results and private sales have shown that exceptional 1970 silver 1 rand coins can command substantial sums. The combination of silver content, historical appeal, and collector demand drives the market. Very few reach the highest grades, making them special when they do. When one of these coins finally emerges in top condition, collectors converge. It becomes a prize piece in a collection, a conversation starter, and a tangible connection to a moment in time. If you imagine placing this coin in your hand, turning it slowly, catching the light on the springbok's curve or the arm's crisp edges, you'll see why this is more than currency. It's a relic. And among relics, this one enters the realm of the elite.